It's alive! It's alive! And it has an afro! We watched Blackenstein. We watched it so you don't have to. So you know what time it is.
Horror, so bad it's scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot, who needs it? Don't turn on the lights. Cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad it's scary. Enjoy the show, but not really.
What's up, Moongoons? Welcome to the Horrible Horror Podcast, the podcast where we watch the worst of the worst in horror movies. Movies so bad they're scary. I'm your wonderful host, Lord Marshall Hampton. With me today, as always, is my buddy, Mr. Aaron Southworth.
I like how you call yourself a lovely host.
It's
pretty cute.
Yeah, I'm adorable. Anyway, it is Black History Month.
Black History Month, yeah. And so every year we do at least one movie featuring African-American actors, prominently African-American actors.
Cast, director, something.
Yeah, cast, director,
something.
yeah.
So this year is no different. This is our Black History Month episode. Maybe we'll get another one in at, next week. I'm not sure yet. But this week, we are going to blast from the past. We're going old school, and we dug up or assembled. I guess
assembled is way better. Yeah,
assembled. Blackenstein.
Blackenstein. Yeah. So I love it.
Yeah, it obviously came on the heels of the most famous blaxploitation, Blackula movie.
Yeah.
But just stand from the bull rush of those movies that came out after.
Blaxploitation films, yeah.
And this one is something else, but we're doing it. But before we get into the movie, of course, we have to do our corporate chill out moment for this week. So here we go. Sit back.
Everybody's got a price.
All right. Yes, you guys should know by now, if this is your first time listening, we are partnered with Manscaped. The leaders in male grooming.
Dude, I don't know if it's you, but I'm seeing Manscaped like everywhere now. Like UFC events and, commercials. It's on my social media, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I like to say we're a small part of that now.
Yeah,
we are.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're sponsored with them or partnered with them to bring you the best in male performance grooming. That being said, that leads off with the Lawnmower 4.0, the bread and the butter, the backbone of the product line, which is an amazing product. It is the groomer, the electric groomer. That has like a no cut technology, no cuts, no nicks, or at least greatly reduced nicks,
reduced cuts, and I used it for a second time, kept the boys clean. Yep. So it works really well. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, it's also waterproof. It's got a 4000K LED spotlight on it if you need it. It's also incredibly easy. It's got great grip. It's comfortable in the hand, easy to use. That's not it, but I mean, that's not all they have. You can also get yourself like the Aaron likes the Weed Whacker.
I do, yeah. I've talked about that before.
The Weed Whacker is actually very nice. It's a great nose hair trimmer.
Yep.
You can also get yourself some treat yourself to your boys. You get some little freshen up, some deodorant, some nice cream to put on there. It's very nice, very good scent for keep the ladies in mind, gentlemen.
Yeah. It's nice. I actually used it today.
Yeah. But yes, so check it out. Go to manscaped.com. You can get yourself a performance package or just get yourself, some lip balm or some 2-in-1 shampoo conditioner, which I just bought yesterday.
That's one we haven't really talked about too much, and I have that too. And man, it is smooth. It's probably one of the best shampoos I've had, and I'm not kidding. Like, you just give one pump. I have relatively short hair, and perfect. Every single time.
Nice.
My favorite shampoo.
Glad to hear it, because I just ordered mine like 2 days ago, so I'm waiting for it to get here. But you can go there and use promo code MOONGOON, that's MOONGOON, for 20 You heard that right. 20% off your entire order and free shipping
Booyah.
on manscaped.com. So check that out. With that said, let's move in. Oh, well, I almost forgot the most important part. There we go.
All right.
Now let's move
It's
on.
official.
It's official now. All right, so Blackenstein. This was released on August 3rd of 1973. Written by Frank R. Solitary. I don't know. This is the one and only thing he ever wrote. His one and only credit, which is not surprising.
Right.
Directed by William A. Levy. He has 10 credits, including such fine films as Wham Bam, Thank You Spaceman, Slumber Party 57, and The Happy Hooker Goes to Washington.
Nice.
Yep.
I'm glad she's happy.
Yep. You can find this gem currently on Amazon, Plex. I'm not sure if that is, but if you know of it, it's there. Tubi, of course, IMDb, and I found this fun. You can find it on Brown Sugar, which is apparently a Prime subscription channel, which I guess is mostly blaxploitation or black cinema. But I've never heard
Tornado and Coffee and movies like
Shaft,
that.
I'm sure, but like Brown Sugar. So yeah, I watched it on Tubi. The cast, we ain't talking about anybody because there's nobody here worth mentioning. The only thing I found funny and kind of ironic is the lady who plays our leading lady. Her name is Ivory Stone, which I found was kind of funny for a black person to be named Ivory.
Yeah, well.
But anyway, just ironic.
But should her name be Onyx? I mean, come on, dude.
Ebony. No.
Anybody can have it.
No, there's nothing else to talk about in this cast at all. So we're gonna jump right in. This is Aaron's taking the reins on this one this week. And so all right, Aaron, let's fire up the machinery and let's
all right, let's rock and roll.
Yes.
All right, so we open on a gothic house with lots of lightning and thunder, and this green mist rises up that says the word Blackenstein. It looks pretty fun. Then we go into a white doctor in a lab. It's classic Frankenstein machinery, equipment, etc. And he's just doing experiments. And right off the bat, it's long. It's like 2 minutes of him just walking around this lab, like flipping switches and electricity going off.
It's so boring. Yeah, he's just going around flipping switches, and then he looks and like, takes a note, looks at something else, takes a note, he's not doing anything. He's just looking at stuff and taking notes.
It takes so long, and the movie's full of that stuff.
Yeah.
But then we cut to some smooth jazz as a plane lands on the tarmac. We follow a woman to the gothic house. She goes up to the door, and this is where we meet Malcolm, the doctor's assistant.
Yeah. And I'm just sorry. The music in this movie is terrible.
It is pretty bad.
It's some of the worst music. That song, that lady singing is awful.
It is pretty bad.
It's so goddamn bad. It like, first of all, this is supposed to be technically a horror movie, and you got like this weird jazz singing lady. It's awful. It's terrible.
I didn't like the song, but I didn't mind it like being at this moment.
I guess
it's not like
it's not like
Blackenstein's chasing people down and this is playing.
That's true.
That's
true. But it's just the song itself is one of the worst I've ever heard.
It's not great.
But yeah, so okay, we meet Malcolm, the lab assistant.
Yeah, she goes to let's see. She asks to see Dr. Stein and says her name is Winifred.
Dr. Winifred Walker.
Yeah, Dr. Winifred Walker. She goes down to his lab, and Dr. Winifred Walker thinks...
Get used to that name. They literally say her name like 15 times in like 2 minutes. They will not let you forget that her name is Dr. Winifred Walker.
Yeah, and we find out that Dr. Stein is her teacher and colleague. So she studied under him. She's been a doctor for a couple years now. They don't mention exactly what kind of doctor, but they're doctors.
No, but it's been 2 years since she got her PhD in some kind of physics, and I studied under you a year and a half before that, so it's the worst writing and exposition dumping.
Awkward dialogue.
So awkward.
She mentions that she just moved to town to take care of her fiancé who is injured in Vietnam. Dr. Stein takes Winifred under his wing, and they find... And we find that the Dr. Stein has recently won the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for solving the DNA genetic code.
Oh my God, this is... Okay, first of all, we gotta say why he was injured, what happened to him in Vietnam, because that's kind of a big point. So Eddie, we find is apparently stepped on a landmine.
Stepped on a mine.
Had both arms and legs blown off. And he's basically just a torso with a head, but his face, body,
Fine.
completely fine.
But
just
it's,
no arms and legs.
The reason I didn't say that yet is because when she doesn't say it, she goes, I don't want to talk about it right now. He goes, what happened to him? He was injured in Vietnam. What happened to him? I don't want to talk about it right now. Okay, fine, that's understandable.
Right.
But it's funny when she does mention it.
Yeah. And yeah, so Dr. Stein's talking about I wish we had like an actual scientist or something, because the bullshit that they're talking about, the DNA, unlock the code.
It's funny because DNA sequencing wasn't unlocked until like 2008, 2009. And those people won Nobel Prize. They probably just heard of DNA in 1973.
Yeah.
They're like, buzzword.
Yeah, it's so inaccurate. It's so much bullshit. This liquid DNA and all this stuff. It's
pretty funny.
Fucking hilarious.
So Winifred wants Dr. Stein to take a look at her fiance. Yeah, let's see. Really quick, I have to mention, this is where I talked about the music, but it seems like, also something I noticed, they seem like to play dramatic music at like very normal times.
Yeah.
Like they're walking down the hall and like, dun dun dun,
Yes.
dun 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 dun.
Yeah, they seriously, they're sitting there in the parlor and they're going up this grand staircase, and they play the most dramatic. I thought like the chandelier was gonna fall.
Like what's gonna
or
happen?
Somebody's gonna pop. I'm like,
nothing.
You're right. It's so strange.
Nothing. So in a tour of Dr. Stein's castle, or Los Angeles home, whatever you want to call it.
Dude, the place is pretty swank, man.
It is pretty cool, but it's Gothic styled. It's almost like a castle.
It is. It's decorated. It's got like these old
But it's in L.A.
Yeah, it's a swank interior design. Like it looks like an old castle, but yeah, it's an interesting place. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. So Winifred is introduced to other patients, like a 90-year-old Eleanor who looks like she's about 50 years old.
Yep.
And Bruno, whose legs have been successfully reattached via laser beam fusion and Stein's DNA solution.
Eleanor, the 90-year-old, she, I guess, gets injections every 12 hours, according to Stein, with this magical DNA serum that basically reverses her aging and makes her look like she's, instead of 90, that she's like 55 or something. But if she doesn't get the serum with these in 24 hours, she will rapidly age back to 90 and maybe even more. And then there's Bruno with the leg thing.
Yeah, but this is where we see Bruno, who gets his legs attached, and Winifred gets pretty startled when she sees that Bruno's leg has tiger stripes on it.
He's got a tiger leg! It's a fucking tiger leg!
And Dr. Stein's like, it's an unknown RNA problem. Whatever.
They just, again, keywords, primeval, primeval, primeval. That's what they just throw around keywords like drama. The dad has a fucking tiger leg! What?
It's pretty awesome. So then we cut to the stoically suffering Eddie. So we finally see Eddie with his, stumps. If you threw Eddie in a lake, you know what his name would be? Bob.
Oh.
If you put him in front of a door, what would his name be? Matt.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Stump.
So this is the first time we see Eddie, and he's kind of got a stoic look on his face.
He's in a veterans hospital.
Yeah, he's in a veterans hospital, and the first thing he says is, I want some ice cream.
Yeah.
It's such a weird choice.
Yeah. Like, brother gets some ice cream. Well, I don't know if he says brother.
No, he just, can I get some ice cream? It's just, and his voice is weird, too.
Yeah.
Dude, Malcolm's voice is the best. But
he has the best voice, but the worst actor.
Yeah.
Holy shit, is acting bad in this.
So when he's asking for ice cream, he starts to become verbally abused by the white orderly. And it's a really weird scene.
It's strange. Like, he's angry for no reason.
And I think it's supposed to be like the angry white guy that hates the black guy. But, it can be interpreted that way.
Yeah.
But the rant he goes on, he never says a racial slur.
No, he doesn't.
He never insinuates. He seems to be talking also a lot about the military.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like, okay, is he mad at him because he's black, or is he mad at him because he's a military member? It's because he's like, I could have been in the army. I had big arms and big chest and small waist.
Like, I had 20-inch arms. And he starts slapping his chest around like he's a pump, chest pounding shit. It's so.
But he said his heart was bad, so he couldn't get in the army.
He was rejected, and so he's pissed off, and now he's stuck as an orc. It's the weirdest, strangest rant, and it just comes out of nowhere from this guy.
And it's really strange, and it looks like at the very end, he's like, okay, I'm going to give you a shot. Here comes a needle. Ah! And he like lunges, but then
it just cuts.
Hard cut.
This movie...
Oh, the editing is horrible.
This thing looks like it was cut together by a rusty meat cleaver. They just took to this. It's some of the worst thing I've ever seen on this show.
So Dr. Stein and Winifred walk in, and they say, hey, we're going to do some experiments. What do you say? He's like, I don't know. It's like, come on, dude. Let's do it. Okay. So he gives consent. I'm telling you, that's kind of how it is.
It really is. It's just like, all right, whatever.
They take him back to the house and perform experiments.
Well, I guess if I'm a stump, I'm like, what else you got?
Right, yeah.
Like, fuck, why not?
Right? So there's lots of scenes of shots of explosions and flashing lights in the lab. Let's see. Malcolm is helping, but he doesn't seem to like Eddie very much, but you can hardly tell. I also love Malcolm's voice. This is where I talk about it. Man, his voice is just... Hello, how are you doing? Dr. Stein.
It's like
Dr. Winifred Walker is here to see you.
It's almost like he's trying to do like a bad impersonation of the guy from Rocky Horror.
Riff-Raff. I was just about to say that.
It's like he's trying to do a black riff-raff or something.
That's
and it's
excellent, yeah.
So weird.
It's, yeah. Let's see. So we see Dr. Stein and Winifred in the lab, and again, they're going to the classic Frankenstein transformation, but instead of a corpse bringing back to life, they're giving Eddie body parts. So they're just slapping... They show one of a hand being put on, but they don't show anything. They're putting limbs back on.
Which made me wonder, because they never explain it, where the fuck do these extra body parts come from?
No, they never explain it.
It's just they just have a black man's arm, two black man's arms and legs just on trays. It's like nobody questions where these body parts come from.
That's a great point because that's such a major theme of Frankenstein.
In Frankenstein, he's digging up graves and they explain where it comes from.
It's like he's getting turned away from,
and the DNA they're using, it's like it makes sound like you would make things like, oh, it's gonna regenerate, like
right, like it's a salamander.
Like if they did like stem cells instead of DNA, this may be a little more sense. But nope, they just have random body parts that nobody questions where they came from. Right? Even Eddie's like, he's like, dude, whose arm am I? Where did this arm come from? Winifred Walker doesn't say a goddamn word. They're just arms on trays, and people are like, cool. Because
that's such a major theme, as I was saying about Frankenstein, because he was being rejected by autopsy rooms or morgues. He's like, I just need body parts. And they're like, get out of here. And then it's a major plot point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't, nothing. Whatever. We got black parts. Yeah. We got white parts. We got black parts. We got yellow parts. Is there someone running like a discount like appendage store?
A limaporium.
Limaporium. Not bad. So Eddie seems to be recovering well. He's having feeling in his new appendages, and everything seems to be going swell. That is until Malcolm confronts Dr. Winifred in the lab and confesses his love for her. Dr. Walker, I love you. I think you're absolutely beautiful. I think about you all the time.
You have that voice nailed, dude. That is like spot on. Yeah, okay, first of all, Stein, before he does it, sort of says, like, okay, we're going to put you to sleep now. When you wake up, a third of this is going to be done. Like, you're going to be a third of this whole process.
The man works fast.
The whole process is going to be done, a third of it. Just keep that in mind because the math, apparently can't do math later. But yeah, this comes out of the blue. Like, Malcolm, who just met this woman like a day ago, is like, I am completely in love with you,
Dr. Walker.
Ever since I first saw you a day ago, I knew I must.
And she's like, "Hey, Malcolm, that's super nice, and you're a real sweet guy. I like you, but I'm in love with Eddie. When he gets better, we're getting married." And he goes, "As you wish." Or actually, doesn't say that. That's riffraff. But he's like, "Okay, doctor, bye," and. Yeah, he takes off.
I'm just waiting for Malcolm to bring into like a
but he doesn't seem to be like warp. His face is always the same. He never makes any like sort of inflection.
He's like a fucking robot, man.
It's so weird because this is a point where you should like frown or look a little sinister. Yeah, because it's coming up.
I would not want to play poker against that man.
You're right.
Jesus, he has I don't think his face moves.
So we get another scene of the lab where they're continuing to repair Eddie. We see Dr. Stein. Oh, wait, I messed up. I apologize. So after Malcolm is rejected, Malcolm goes and starts to sabotage the DNA solution that's being used for Eddie's DNA procedures.
Yeah.
So he's mixing chemicals, and during the scene, we hear Dr. Stein saying over and over, primitive, jungle,
primitive, primeval,
savage.
The voiceover, like, they do it so much, and it makes zero sense half the time when they do it.
It really does.
It's just gibberish voiceover. And it goes, and normally you might say the word one time, maybe twice. Here they do like 4 or 5 times. They keep repeating the same word over and over again. It's beyond word. I've never seen this bad of like writing and in a movie. I can't comprehend.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, but hey, it's Blackenstein, baby.
It is Blackenstein. All right,
you get it in the title. You know, it was originally called Black Frankenstein, and they go, nah, Blackenstein.
Blackenstein.
So we get another lab scene where they're continuing to repair Eddie, and we see Dr. Stein inject Eddie with the sabotaged DNA solution. This seems to be causing this former soldier to de-evolve into a primitive, brutish state with hairy hands and Neanderthal-like brow ridge. Because after the procedure, they go and see him, and he's like, I don't feel good. And he turns over, and he's got this big Neanderthal
ridge.
He's
got Neanderthal caveman brow.
He's got, like, furry hands. You know, he could probably treat those hands with a Manscaped lawnmower.
Yes!
4.0.
Yes, you get the lawn. There you go. Okay, so remember the first procedure. He says you'll be a third of the way done.
Right.
Here he does the second procedure, and he's done.
Pretty much.
That means he skipped a whole third. Because last I checked, a third means 3 parts, right?
It's nuts.
Not 2.
So
and then, also, I think we're here yet, but Bruno and Eleanor, they get pimp ass rooms to stay in.
They do.
They are in like king size beds with luscious sheets in these wood paneling rooms with tapestries in the castle. It's
right,
great.
Exactly.
Fucking Eddie is in a goddamn dungeon on a cot. He is literally in a dungeon cell. There is a cast iron grated sliding cell door with chains, and he is in a dungeon cell on a cot.
Proper dungeon. That's exactly what I had like in the next line.
Everybody else is in like the fucking 4 seasons. This guy is in a dungeon.
Why is a black man got to get a dungeon? Come on. Good God. So they continue with the treatments, unknowingly giving Eddie sabotage medicine. As his condition worsens, he loses mental capacity for speech, and then Eddie becomes slowly shambling monster resembling the iconic Boris Karloff. He starts to become...
his hand gets... apparently his head grows 3 sizes, and he gets an afro.
And neck bolts!
Did he have neck bolts?
I think so.
I don't
It's hard because they never show his face very closely very often.
I don't think he had neck bolts.
Oh, I want him to have neck
bolts. I
bolts.
wish if he did, that would be amazing. But yeah, his head grows like 3 sizes, and he has a giant square afro.
So he's become Blackenstein.
He's become Blackenstein.
And then, I don't know how. They don't show how, but he decides to go for a stroll.
Yeah. That dungeon... Not really good at keeping the people in. He just comes and goes as he feels willy-nilly.
So he decides to take a stroll to the hospital where the white orderly...
Which apparently is like right next door all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Because like this guy walks... is the slowest moving thing I've ever seen. And it would take him like hours to get... the way he's moving, it would take him...
20 minutes to get out of the house.
Yeah. I mean, but he's apparently that Veterans Hospital is right next door all of a sudden.
So he goes to the Veterans Hospital where he is stalking the white orderly that was abusing him. He hunts him down, finds him in like a bathroom, I think. And he you have a silhouette. A sheet is pulled and you see the silhouette, the shadows of Blackenstein slapping and pushing,
throttling,
and choking, throttling the white orderly who's just like, oh, and you see him like the white orderly throwing himself back against the wall, and the Blackenstein's like, whoa, I'm supposed to push you here. It's really disorganized. He finally knocks down the white orderly and then rips his arm off.
Yes, he does.
And takes it home with him.
Yes, he does. He takes a souvenir. Not only is he taking it, he's eating it. Blackenstein slowly is turned into a cannibal. I don't remember Frankenstein being a cannibal in the original, but apparently he is now a cannibalistic Neanderthal with an afro.
Well, he is now still hungry.
Yeah.
Because we see Blackenstein wandering the streets, and he comes across a dog that's giving him some mean mug barks, ruff, ruff. And Blackenstein's not having it. He starts approaching the dog, but there's a couple inside there's a girl and a guy, and the girl's going, hey, go check on the dog. The guy's like, okay. He goes outside to check on the dog, and then we cut to the moon. Ah! And then we see a white guy's leg with blood on it.
Yep.
And that's it.
That's it. I told you, man, they editing this is like a fucking cleaver. It's awful.
It's crazy. The girl then goes outside with a flashlight, strutting around in a cute little pink negligee. She is actually
it's pure. It's light purple,
she's looking good.
sheer see-through negligee.
She looks pretty good, yeah. But she also meets her demise at the Black Frankenstein when he comes up and rips her guts out. But it's, again, so poorly edited and choppy. He just, touches her.
Yeah.
They get a close-up of her face, and then all of a sudden he's just holding guts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like a magician or something. He's like Van Damme or Bolo Yang and Blade. He's got the death touch.
He does have it.
Because all he has
The
to do...
dim mak.
The dim mak. Yeah. All he has to do, apparently, is just touch people, and they just die. It's... the fast, and it's an ongoing problem in this movie. Almost the orderly, I think, has the longest drawn death scene.
Yeah,
Everybody else is dead. And, just
instantly.
as touched. There's dead.
So we cut back to the house, and we're in the lab where Winifred is doing more experiments, more bullshit in the lab, where she did explosions and lights, and this is interesting.
Oh, is this where
but I guess it gets boring because she falls asleep
after 2 seconds.
And this is weird. It's like we just saw Blackenstein outside.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's back in the lab,
Yep.
And he's leaving again.
Yep.
He's going back out on another stroll.
I guess, okay, here, so first, Winifred's in the lab. She looks at 2 vials that have tape on them, and somebody wrote DNA on the tape on one. She looks at one vial, looks at another, and then just all right, I'm done, and just falls asleep. It's the quickest work. Wow, you really put in a good hard 8 hours there, lady.
Oh.
Just passes out instantly. Yeah, and then Blackenstein. He left. He comes back. I guess maybe he's one of those people who she has to shit at home. He can't use the public bathroom because that's the only reason. Why would he just comes back and leaves?
Must shit at home. Dude, it's. I was like, what's Blackenstein doing back? Has he come back? No, he's leaving. It's so weird. But he goes out in the town again, and we see a couple who pulls up to a picturesque scenery. And you know what couples do at night? They pull up to a picturesque scenery. It's booty slapping time.
Yep.
Right. But the chick's not having it. He's aggressive. He's like, "Come on, baby. I like to touch your hair. It smells good." And she's like, "Get off me. I want to go home."
Okay, first of all, that's creepy.
Yeah.
First comment, I was like, this girl has no, I maybe wonder, why was she with this guy in the first place?
Right, because as soon as they park, she's just like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, it's why would you agree to go park with this guy? Because you know what that means in this time period, and you obviously don't like him. Because he's like, "Just take me home. Don't touch me. Don't touch me."
He's getting kind of handsy, and I'm starting to get
creepy vibes.
I'm starting to get vibes of Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. That scene where Ricky runs over the guy who's drinking Takagi.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's like, you have perfect hair. You know? Yes, I know I do. Like, do you like to have it touched? No, I don't. Like,
I want to go home. I'd like to go home.
Your hair.
She's like the best actor in the movie.
He does get real proper creepy here about his hair, her hair. Yeah.
So she gets out and she leaves, and the guy's like, "Well, I'm better off alone," and he drives off. But then Blackenstein doesn't hesitate. He grabs her and then drags her away awkwardly.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrible.
It's
like he grabs her, close up of her face, and then the camera's on the ground, kind of looking up as Blackenstein drags her away, and she's standing almost completely straight.
Yeah,
up.
it's so weird. Again, every decision and thing they do in this movie is just beyond almost explanation because of how bad and awkward everything is.
It's bad.
We can't do it justice.
You have to see it.
You do, but don't.
So in the morning, Dr. Stein and Winifred are being served by Malcolm. They're eating breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Stein is looking kind of upset. And he says, "Winifred, I want to see you in the lab." And I love this scene. So Winifred and Dr. Stein leave, and Malcolm just stands there, and he finally smiles. And he sits down to eat Dr. Stein's breakfast with the biggest smile on his face. Oh, goody. It's for me. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. The dude is so happy to be eating. It's so weird. It's the one time we see him smile. He doesn't frown, he doesn't smile, doesn't do anything. But he smiles there. He finally gets to eat. All right. So they go down and talk. 2 police detectives then arrive to visit Dr. Stein as body count starts to rise. They're suspicious due to the fact that the killings took place in the surrounding vicinity. But Dr. Stein, he's ignorant to the fact that he now has a murderous Blackenstein monster living in his basement laboratory. Winifred, however, becomes suspicious of Malcolm and spends her time in the lab examining various solutions used during Eddie's surgery. Blackenstein goes out again!
Yep.
He's on his way out again.
He is a social night owl, man.
He's a busy beaver.
He
yeah.
is.
But he also wants to get some entertainment.
Yes.
Yeah, he wants to go to the club.
He does.
So then we cut to a club scene.
This is awful.
Where a guy is like, I guess he's the host or the MC.
He's supposed to be, a host and comedian.
And he does an entire, 2-minute bit.
It's the worst.
About a dog that talks.
A talking dog. It's the longest, most boring
with no
joke
payoff.
with no payoff.
No payoff.
But the crowd
loves it.
They're laughing like he's fucking Kevin Hart or Chris Rock or something like that, or Dave Chappelle. Like, oh, it's the funniest thing in the world. It's the stupidest joke I've ever heard. It's like takes him 5 minutes to tell the goddamn story, and then the punchline is non-existent.
And everyone just are like, that was funny? That was supposed to be
funny?
funny?
I kept waiting, where's the
joke?
What?
Yeah.
And then he brings on this woman to sing, and it's the same goddamn song from the beginning, and it's just even worse now.
And it just we focus on her for another 2 minutes.
Yeah,
also.
I hate this thing. I fucking hate when you get to the club. I just fucking push mute or fast forward.
I don't know. It kind of fits perfectly in Blackenstein. It's just clumsy and awkward.
I guess, but it's just. I don't know.
So I guess Blackenstein's outside the club because he sees a couple.
Oh my god!
A couple. Are they making out, or is he trying to rape her?
He's trying to rape her,
but you can't tell because it looks almost consensual.
Yeah, and also I don't know if you picked up on this, but again, the shitty editing continuity is terrible because it cuts back and forth between the club people at the club and Blackenstein taking his 30-minute
stroll,
walk 10 feet.
There's a random scream.
And every time, it's the different time of day.
Yes.
He leaves the castle, it's nighttime. He shows him walking down the street, the fucking sky's blue and the sun's just starting to set. It shows the club, it's nighttime again. Shows fucking Blackenstein, the sky's blue and the clouds are out again. He finally makes it to the club, it's night again. 3-day cycles have passed in this whole process. It's bonkers. And then you have this couple who's like, are they making out?
Are they making out?
It looks like he's trying to rape her.
It looks like they're making out at first, and then she kind of pushes him back, and then he just rips her shirt open. I'm like, damn, bro.
Give me that.
He just goes for it, but Blackenstein is here to save the day.
Apparently.
So he comes out, and the raper starts to fight Blackenstein by throwing body shots.
Oh,
thump, 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 thump. Everyone throws body shots at him. No one punches his head ever.
Well,
so
his head's
it's a great target.
It's a giant target. It'd be the easiest thing to hit.
So he... all he does is throw body shots, and he grabs him, squeezes him, and he falls down seemingly dead.
Yeah. Again, instant, just grabs him, touch, he falls down.
And you think maybe he's, going to let the girl live because it looked like he saved her, but nope. He turns his attention to her. She's kind of trapped in a corner of the alley. She can't get away. Her top's still off, and up comes Blackenstein and scratches her.
Yeah.
It's he puts his face puts his hand towards her face, and then all of a sudden it cuts away, and she's got these massive it looks like she got run over by a car.
Yeah.
It's horrible effects.
It's
but
horrible
I'm
makeup.
What the hell happened?
Fucking awesome. It's awful, not awesome. And and then the guy who he was punching him at one point gets up, attacks him again, and Blackenstein again just touches him, and then he falls down dead with a little bit of blood on his chest.
Right.
what? I don't.
It's
I
so
don't
weird.
know.
And this is where I realized Blackenstein kind of looks like Wesley Willis. Wesley Willis is an old. He was a guy with like schizophrenia and all kinds of mental health issues, but he would make these songs like Rock and Roll McDonald's. I whoop Batman's ass. And anytime a song ended, he'd say, "Rock over London, rock on Chicago, Wheaties, breakfast of champions." Or Exxon, put a tiger in your tank. The guy was awesome. You haven't heard of Wesley Willis? He's fantastic.
I haven't heard that name.
Oh,
in
man.
so long.
Now it's coming back, isn't it? It's come back now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's been for. Oh Jesus Christ. Okay.
So Blackenstein kills the lady, and then all of a sudden the police show up, and they're on the scene, and they're looking for Blackenstein, but they can't find him.
And they're talking to the comedian guy who saw the whole thing.
Right.
And not only him, but then out of the blue,
This kid pops up from behind a fence.
It's like fucking Mr. Wilson from Tool Time. Just pops up on the other side of the fence.
Hey, I saw him.
What? Huh? And just ducks down like, what? Where's this kid from? Why is he out so late by himself? Why
Right?
is he there? He just pops up like a fucking groundhog from behind a fence. He's like, huh? And so the comedian's talking to the cops, and he's like, explain this to me. He's like, what do you mean explain it to you again? I'll tell it to you one more time. He's like, came outside to smoke after my set like I always do. Heard a girl scream and saw her getting assaulted, but instead of helping, he doesn't say that, but he's like, then I decided to take one more puff. Like, that's an important part of the story. Like, first of all, you hear a woman getting assaulted, you kind of see it, but instead of helping, you sit there and make sure to take one more hit off that cigarette. Yeah. Like, are you fucking kidding me? And then he's like, yeah, and then I just saw, he was like, there's a 15 feet shadow, man. What do you want me to do with that? And that's all he really says.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I pretty much skipped it because it doesn't have anything to do with the story.
I just thought funny because I don't know why they found it so funny that they had to emphasize the fact that I took one more
drag of a
I decided
cigarette.
not to help that broad because I wanted to take one more drag from my cigarette.
So Blackenstein, after his senseless rampage, he decides to go back home.
Mm-hmm.
But when he goes home, he hears screaming coming from Winifred's room. And he enters to find Malcolm with his shirt off.
Oh my God!
Like pulling on. She's in a negligee, and he's like pulling on her, and he's like just grabs her. He has her wrist.
Yeah.
And he's just moving him back and forth.
Yeah. So okay, they were. God damn it! They were doing rounds. Like at the end of the night, they give Eleanor like her shot, and like, all right, night's over.
Yeah.
She goes back to her room. Malcolm comes out and he looks down the hall and kind of gives like his second smile of the movie. Follows her down. He's like, just out of the blue, he's like, I'm just gonna rape this bitch.
Yep.
Like I'm just gonna rape her because I love her so much. Tonight's the night. So yeah, he's fucking trying to rip her shirt off and go at her.
But Blackenstein ain't having it.
Nope.
They start to fight. Malcolm's throwing body shots again. Tries to get away. Like, he grabs Malcolm and kind of tosses him down and turns to Winifred. And Malcolm looks like he just leaves. He just opens the door and walks out. I'm like, what the fuck? But he comes in right away. He comes back in with a gun.
Yeah,
and
with the
boom,
gun.
starts shooting Blackenstein, but it has zero effect.
He shoots him like 5 times in the back.
And Blackenstein slowly lumbers towards Malcolm, grabs him, gives him a nice strangle. I was going to say squeeze, but I forgot. He does pick him up and strangle him, and he finally kills him.
And then he goes on like this just incites more like murder.
More rampage. He goes to the aging Eleanor and decides to kill her. And how did he kill her? I don't even remember how.
Okay, first I think he kills Bruno.
Oh yeah, he does.
He kills Bruno.
Bruno puts up a little bit of a fight.
He gets the bear hug.
Yeah.
He gets the old bear hug finishing maneuver.
Yeah. Eleanor, I don't remember.
Eleanor kills herself basically because he kills Bruno and he leaves the room. Eleanor leaves her room, screams and runs, but she runs directly into his arms. She doesn't run away from him. She runs directly into the murderous monster.
So
and just dies.
Maybe she started to revert back to 90 years old, experiencing dementia, and thought it was her husband. Yeah, I'm going there.
No. Seriously, I don't understand. She literally runs into his arms, and he just kills her instantly. Again, you don't really see it, but it's just
Yeah,
you see
just dead.
She runs into him, She's dead.
She's dead.
That's it.
So Dr. Stein shows up and he meets Winifred on the stairs and this is where she tells him, she's like, Eddie's a monster. Oh my God, he's out of control. Together they run down to the lab. Winifred busies herself preparing another injection of DNA solution, I guess, to make sure that Eddie's okay. But when Blackenstein draws near...
Are you okay, Eddie? Eddie, are you okay? Eddie, are you okay?
Yeah,
Eddie? Eddie, are you okay?
She draws up this solution to give it to him to fix him, but as soon as he comes in, she's like, oh no! And like backs away. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah. Oh.
So, but there is, he looks like he's about to get her, but then all of a sudden he kind of freezes, maybe recognizing that, this is Winifred, his, fiance. But that gives Dr. Stein the chance to jump him from behind.
Hi-ya!
Whack!
Wah!
But it has no effect. Blackenstein grabs him, whacks him a few times. He knocks him down, seemingly dead, but then he picks him back up, shakes him some more electricity and shit blowing up.
He knocks him down. The first time he knocks him down.
I thought he was dead then.
You would think so because he knocks him behind the operating table so you can't see him hit the ground. But once he's out of view, like just explosions and sparks everywhere. Like, oh, well, he's dead. But no, you're right.
He picks him back up.
He gets back up, tacks him again, and then again just kind of taps him and he dies. Gone. And then he turns back to Winifred, who's like, Eddie, Eddie, it's me, Eddie.
And he can't put up with that annoying fucking voice.
Oh.
Because he decides to book it.
Yep.
He leaves again. He's like, I'm out of here.
I'm out.
And of course, perfect timing because that's exactly when the police arrive. And they're too late. And discover Dr. Stein's body.
Okay, can we...
And then the one dude consoles Winifred. I love it.
Yeah. So, okay. Back... Before the murder spree, the cops, they're talking to the kid behind the fence kid. Yeah. The kid's like, I saw a nigga, he went that way. And the cops like, oh, there's nothing down there but the old factory. And I think next to the factory is the old cemetery. We better, and like, huh? Well, and beyond that might be Dr. Stein's. The way they put this together
is by the old factory, by the cemetery, by Dr. Stein.
By Dr. Stein's. Let's go. And so, just the geography, the layout of this, that means Dr. Stein's mansion is next to this abandoned factory, which it is. I mean, because there's no way because Blackenstein gets anywhere quickly, but it's just so comically funny the way they say it and just put those pieces together. It's so odd. It's like, really, like can we be more generic and stereotypical of horror movie locations? Like
the
cemetery, the abandoned warehouse, the cemetery, which is right next to
the castle,
the haunted house, which is right next to the eerie crypt, which is next to the swamp. Like, Jesus Christ! What can we get more?
So Eddie's back on the town.
Yep, he's back on
the town. And what does he find? A brunette attempting to start up her Jeep. And then he comes up and she actually puts up a good run.
Yep,
she runs into the abandoned warehouse where Blackenstein clumsily stumbles about, and this goes on way too long.
So he catches her at some point and carries her to the abandoned warehouse, and she gets away.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
and hides, and the worst hiding spot here because you can clearly see her legs sticking out.
But
she's right there.
She's running around all over. Blackenstein stumbling towards her.
There's no way she should get caught a second time.
And when she gets caught the second time, she runs to a ladder. And I'm thinking, okay, that's a great idea. And then all of a sudden, her arms don't work.
It's like she doesn't know how a ladder works. Oh, it's like she's like, how do I work this fancy high-tech machinery? It's like every wrestler in a goddamn ladder match or Money in the Bank, they get to the ladder and suddenly they have no idea how to get up one quickly. It's like
that's funny.
It's bad. It's so bad.
And of course, she's instantly dead.
She just gets grabbed.
Yeah. She gets grabbed and just is dead.
And then the
cops show up.
With Frank, Blackenstein comes down the ladder. Like,
does he?
We see him coming down the ladder. It's like, when did he go up there?
There's so many, poorly edited.
Nothing makes any sense.
But the cops come and they bring the Los Angeles County Canine Corps.
The Canine Corps!
Which is just fucking killer Dobermans.
2 Doberman pinchers they release.
And they get
release the hounds.
They get released. The dogs corner Blackenstein. Bark, 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 bark. They jump on him, knock him down, and just fucking devour him.
The guy
just rip him apart.
The guy who is impervious to like 20
Bullets.
body shots and apparently bulletproof, gets taken apart by 2 dogs.
Literally taken
Like-
apart because one of the dogs rips his arm
Rips
off
his fucking arm off
and walks away with it.
like it's a goddamn sausage link.
It's so funny.
The police dogs, which are trained to subdue, not murder, but the police dogs rip off his fucking arm, carry it away in his mouth like a sausage link, while another dog had basically gutted him and his intestines are hanging out, and the dog just can't then plop away, just boop, 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 boop,
boop, boop.
leave the warehouse. Blackenstein
Is dead.
dies. He dies, bleeds out, whatever. And then it cuts back to Stein's castle, front door castle with Dr. Winifred Walker, or what her name is.
Like sweet talking the cop.
And the cops like sweet talking her. Yeah, they're like, oh my god, are they about to make out?
Yes!
Because that's what it looks like.
There's
So apparently-
there's like pretty music playing and everything.
and they're like arm in arm, and he
Yes!
like leads. I'm like, holy shit! So fucking Winifred Walker, who is so in love with Eddie, instantly, like as soon as he's dead, oh, black cop, you got a nice afro too. What's up, buddy? What's up, brother?
That guy's got game.
And just and then it just fucking ends.
And that's it.
That's the goddamn movie.
That's Blackenstein.
Holy shit! All right.
Good lord.
All right, hold on. We'll be. I'm sorry, I'm running on, but we gotta take a quick break, real quick. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. So yeah, that was
That's Blackenstein.
that's fucking Blackenstein, guys. Let's just move on to this week's favorite kill.
Don't act like you didn't love it. Favorite kill.
All right, this movie was terrible for kills.
Horrible.
Absolutely horrible. Some of the probably the worst we've ever seen.
Definitely some of the worst. Yeah.
I don't think there's any other choice except for one, which I'm sure. I mean, go ahead, Aaron. I'm pretty sure. But
Well, I mean, I'm going to have to go with the white orderly.
Yeah.
You know, getting his arm ripped off.
yeah,
That was the best one because he's the bad guy, the one that actually deserves it. You know, and it was kind of graphic. It was kind of cool. He's eating his arm.
He's
you
eating
know,
his arm.
and but it was still shitty.
yeah. It is. It's the shittiest. This is not probably movie takes the case. Probably the shittiest kills we've ever seen. And like the amount of insta death chokeouts is
Or
comical.
touches.
Like yeah,
Hugs.
they're barely
Nice
even
squeeze.
chokes or strangles. They're just like touch and you're dead. But yeah, I mean, there's the only thing you can say is the orderly guy who actually gets an arm ripped off and there's a struggle. That's the only like real effect they put in until Frankenstein. A lot of arms getting ripped off in
Yeah,
this movie. Like,
yeah.
what's up with that? What's up with that? That was my Hurricane Helms right there. Yeah, so you have to be the orderly. Like, there's no other choice this week. Let's just move on.
Just when you thought it was over, here comes the odds and ends.
All right, so ratings. IMDb gives it a 3.4 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, there is no official thermometer score.
Wow.
Yeah, and it has a 10% audience score.
Wow.
Yeah, but Amazon, fucking Amazon, 4 out of 5.
Amazon's going to Amazon.
Amazon gonna be Amazon. Plot keywords. There were 71 total movie plot keywords. Some really strange ones. Additional funnel was a plot keyword.
What?
Yeah. So if you like funnels in your movies, this one's got an additional funnel for
funnel.
you funnel lovers. Boeing 727 landing, not just the movie, but landing is a key. Tiger striped leg.
That's original.
That is original. Aaron, this one's for camera shot of a woman's feet.
Right on.
Right on. And then lastly, boo, ba-doo, ba-doo-doo-doo, boo, boo, boo. Psychotronic.
Yeah.
Yep, Psychotronic film. Trivia. The only bit of any remotely interesting trivia that was available is the fact that the set used for Dr. Stein's lab used a lot of original items from Universal's original Frankenstein movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it looked pretty accurate, honestly, when I was looking at it.
Yeah, that's
So-
it.
So
for
this
trivia.
equipment's from the 30s that they're using in 1973.
Yeah, basically. So, let's move on to the budget game.
Time for Aaron to blow his wad with the budget game.
You found a budget for this?
Found a budget and a box office for this.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna so fuck this up. Okay.
Remember, this is early 70s, so like 72 probably was made.
All right. Budget for Blackenstein. No name actors. Horrible effects. Not a huge runtime. It was an hour and 17 minutes.
Yeah, it's short, by the way, guys. It's really short. It's pretty short. And it still feels like it's too long.
Yeah. I'm going to say... It's so hard because they put more money into movies back in the day. Whereas, if I said it today, I'd be like, oh, it's like $10,000. But, oh, fuck. All right, I'm going to say $25,000.
$25,000. All right. Good, yeah, kind of good guess.
Huh? Oh, yeah, kind of good guess, but you're wrong.
You will not. I wouldn't believe this either. Best for your budget $80,000.
I mean, it's not a shocker.
It is to me. I'm like, where the fuck did that money go?
I mean, they had the house, they had different locations, they had
different locations. They had a house, a jazz club, and an old factory. That's it. Like that's not like expensive.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know.
So,
I imagine they hired actual actors though.
If they
sort of.
I don't. Those people. Oof. All right. Let's guess the box office. How much did this movie make in the theaters?
I bet you it did pretty good actually, because blaxploitation films were pretty hot. Blackula was out. I don't know if like Rudy Ray Moore's Human Tornado movies were out yet, like the Dolomite movies. So I'm going to say it made back its money, and this is total gross, right?
Yeah, total.
Okay, total gross. I'm going to say $150,000.
$150K.
Because I imagine the release is small. It's probably just to like black communities and black like theaters and stuff like that.
That so I can't tell you that.
I
don't know.
I don't think it'd be like showing in small town Ohio. You know what I mean? So
I get you, but
how'd it do?
Box office $2 million.
Holy shit!
This thing made $2 million.
Holy crap!
This is like the worst movie I think I've ever seen. It made $2 million.
Talk about an investment.
Yeah. God damn. All right. But before we move on, just guys just like Blackenstein was alive. He was alive. So is my overgrown bush.
Is it back already?
It's alive.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Which means I gotta go get my Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0 to trim that beast back.
Yes, you do.
Get that primeval jungle under control. Get my curly red afro under control.
And you can save 20%
I can save 20% by going to manscaped.com and using promo code Moongoon. Moonagoon at checkout to save 20% plus free shipping.
Free shipping. Also international. So, not all over the world, but, it's like 28 different countries it ships to.
Not just my, not just the lawnscaper, or Lawnmower 4.0.
Lawnmower and Weed Whacker.
Weed Whacker, thank you. I can also get my deodorants, my shampoo, my conditioner. I can get some lip balm. It's windy. It's cold winter.
Yeah.
I get some Manscaped lip balm.
I've got it.
Keep those lips nice and moist and not getting chapped. All at manscaped.com with promo code Moongoon at checkout. So, there we go. All right, let's move on to Mortal Kombat.
At the end of this day, one shall stand, one shall fall.
Good versus bad. Right versus wrong. Light versus dark. In the end, when the dust settles, who will be left standing after Mortal Kombat combat?
All right, who will be left standing?
All
Let's
right.
find out. On Amazon, 124 total reviews. 66% are 5-star, with 8% being 1-star reviews.
It's the camp factor, you know.
It
they just
probably
it
has
has
to be.
It
It has to be.
is. Yeah.
So let's start with 5 from Juanita Sugamora. Nudary. I've never even heard of that word, but nudary. It was a good movie to watch if you were alone. 5 stars.
Weird.
I don't think that's even a word.
Nudary?
Nudary. Nudery. Nudary.
Huh.
Interesting. From Junk Rocker. What more need be said? It's Blackenstein, baby. 5 stars.
Fair enough.
Fair enough, I guess. From MarkFusion.com. An absolute treasure. The kind of movie that would lead us to the promised land if only we weren't so blinded by our own hubris. 5 stars. From Scott. You have to be well toasted to get this one. Even then, it was like an out-of-body experience. Still worth a watch just to try to figure out what the hell is going on. 5 stars. And lastly, from David R. Moffat. Want to recreate a night of ultra-late 1970s TV in your very own home? Just slip in a copy of Blackenstein and you'll feel as if you're tripping back to that groovy time when you crashed on the couch in your parents' basement rec room and really got into some midnight movie or other. Blackenstein has it all, including a flawlessly scratched and grainy print transferred right onto the DVD. You want bad acting? You got it. Fractional continuity, technical errors? Yep. Plot holes that an 18-wheeler could be driven through? Sure. Really bad dialogue? Since the doctor won a Nobel Peace Prize for medicine, it abounds. Scenes in which someone appears to have forgotten the camera running and for no apparent reason decided to include the resulting footage in the film? You bet. You name it. If it can be done wrong, it was done wrong in this movie.
Amen.
For all that, I thoroughly enjoyed this film because I was laughing my head off most of the way through. Blackenstein is almost, but not quite, what the Wayans brothers would have made as a student film. Seen as a bad joke, it's one of the best guilty pleasures ever put on cinema. If you're expecting a legitimate monster movie, however, just forget it. Some things are truly so bad they're good, and Blackenstein fits the bill as well as any other cinematic oopsie ever seen. And it's short enough at 87 minutes that if it doesn't leave a bad taste in your mouth, you'll still have time to put in a real movie and possibly salvage your evening. 5 stars.
That's a good review.
All right. Moving on to the 1 stars. From Joe Wing. The problem with this movie is that the story is dead upon arrival. There's nothing interesting about it. There is no tension. There's no horror. There is no shock. There's just no there. C. 1 star.
I like how you included the typo.
Yeah.
C.
It's not. It's a punk pyramid, and then you just put a C. There, C. From Laser Ghost. Blackenstein. I served with Blackula. I knew Blackula. Blackula was a friend of mine. Blackenstein, you're no Blackula. 1 star.
Weird.
Yeah.
I like it, though.
From Kindle Customer. I bought this thing in 2006 and only just attempted to rematch it the other day. Not rewatch, rematch. Rematch it the other day. I ignored the warnings of the Amazon reviewers who said, you're sitting there saying it's Black Frankenstein. It'll be the craziest, most awesome bad movie ever. Well, it's terrible. Don't buy it. Everything literally takes 5 times as long as it should to happen. Every action, every dialogue exchange, literally every moment, every activity. This film is sheer agony to sit through. Not robot monster agony, not Plan 9 agony, real eye-gougingly boring agony. 1 star.
Wow.
Last 2 from Emilio Amaro. The guy who plays Blackenstein has either never acted his entire life or is going through a serious bout of depression at the time because I think a rotting corpse on the strings of an amateur puppeteer would have had more to offer.
To be fair, Eddie had his arms and legs blown off. He's probably pretty depressed.
If you really want
and he can't get ice cream.
That's right. Give the man some ice cream, damn it. Maybe if you got his ice cream, none of this would have happened.
Right?
If you really want Blackenstein, just read the original story and imagine that it's the corpse of a black man because this movie will bore you to the point where no psychotic doctor could ever resurrect your soul. 1 star. And lastly, from David Lerner, short version, Blackenstein. The Black Frankenstein is awful, awful movie, quite possibly the worst ever made. Longer version. It's a shame that Blackenstein isn't widely known. If it had the cult following that it deserves, quote unquote, then it would appear on a lot more worst movies ever made lists. I've seen a lot of bad movies in my time, but Blackenstein certainly gives Manos, The Hand of Fate, and Plan 9 from Outer Space a run for their money at the top of my list as the very worst. Where do you start to describe a movie that makes Ed Wood look like a near genius? This movie was edited with all the grace and subtlety of a meat cleaver. A dialogue, when there is dialogue, is laughable. The premise of the movie itself is ridiculous. A man steps... Well, we're going to skip over his parentheses. Somewhere, shouldn't he at least be missing lower jaw, an eye, or his hearing, or something? The movie's continuity defies the laws of time and space in ways I haven't seen since Plan 9. There's the entrance to the Veterans Hospital that appears to be located in an abandoned factory warehouse. The factory warehouse itself may or may not be right next door to the mansion. Time shifts from day to night to dusk to night to dusk without any sense of whether or not an actual day has gone by. After a while, you just have to stop trying to figure out and let them take you along for the ride. I'm sure there's many questions left unanswered, but sure this is entertaining to watch again and come up with more questions such as, why didn't Mystery Science Theater 3000 get their hands on this one?
Right?
Why do all the cops show up at the end of the movie, and where on earth do they go? Why doesn't this DVD box tagline, why doesn't the DVD box's tagline, to stop this mother takes one bad brother, have anything to do with the movie?
It has nothing to do with the movie.
I'm pretty sure that watching Blackenstein is the very definition of the phrase hurts so good. 1 star.
So it had a tagline of, to stop this brother, it's going to take one bad
mother.
mother.
To stop this mother takes one bad brother.
Oh my God. And it was 2 dogs.
It was 2 dogs. It's a great tagline. That's hilarious. But nobody takes... It's 2 fucking dogs.
It should have been the black cop.
Yes.
It should have been the cop with the afro.
It should have been the cop.
Yeah.
I think did he even open the doors to the canine van? I don't think he did.
No.
He's off trying to bang Dr. Winifred Walker.
That's a bad brother right there.
Yeah, so...
That's it.
That's it. Short episode.
Yeah, well, the movie's short.
It's short.
It's like there's... We're picking over the carcass of this movie.
Yeah, it's so short and so bad and so boring. Like,
it's like I think that's about as good as we could get.
Yeah, we try to stretch it out. There's one scene we skipped over, which it's only funny because it's so laughably bad, and that's just when Eddie's in his dungeon cell and Winifred's down there talking to him with Dr. Stein, and Stein's like, he's just not himself anymore. So I don't know, something like that. And Eddie attacks her through the cell door and grabs her. And Dr. Stein's like treat him like he's a fucking bad dog.
He gets like a beaver tail or something.
Yeah, like a rolled up newspaper. He's like, no, bad dog, bad Eddie, bad Blackenstein. That's how bad this movie is. So beyond description of how terrible it is and how comedic. Like, don't get me wrong, I had a blast here sitting here making fun of it, but we'll save it. But I mean, yeah, it's short, dude. It's fucking short, but that's just, I mean, final comments, man.
I feel like it should be seen because it is part of black movie cinema history. Even as shitty as it is, it made $2 million, and it was cut from the same cloth as Blackula and, you know, those blaxploitation films. So it has a place to be seen, but see Blackula, see, you know, what am I drawing? Rudy Ray Moore's movies, you know, Dolomite. Watch Coffee. Don't watch this. So bad it's scary. But it's just really shitty. It's just really shitty. I mean, we already beat it about the head and shoulders. We ripped off its arm. We tore open its guts. The movie is bad.
Yeah.
There is one scene that I forgot to talk about.
Okay. Yeah.
It's when Eddie's starting to like convulse and stuff, and they take him away on the gurney, and they're like, "Malcolm, quick, go get the gurney!" And he goes, "Fuck you, I'm not gonna get it." And he comes like he's walking down the hall so slowly. He's like, "I'm not moving my ass for this."
Yeah.
At least that's what I thought.
Oh, we also skipped over the fact that for the guy who has no arms and legs, when they wheel him into the castle, you can clearly see his arms and legs hanging out from underneath the sheet. Like, they're right there. How did that get past, like, editing? Like,
everything got past editing.
Yeah, I mean, so, yeah.
What's your thoughts?
Oh, man. So bad, scary.
Yeah.
Well, I just, without a doubt, I mean, this, I don't know. This movie is just
unfucking believable.
Yeah, it's so god. And here, one more.
Fuck's sake, man, you're amateur.
It's amateur.
Oh,
it's
there you
so amateur. But I kind of like your point that like maybe I don't know. I would say watch it once just to see if you really want to torture yourself, see how bad it is. But even then, I can't recommend doing that. In the past, I was like, watch
there's other movies that you can do that with.
Yeah, like this is just, even though it's short and it is free on Tubi.
Yeah.
So, but goddamn, it's like that hour and I don't know, 10 minutes, hour 15 minutes. It's still gonna it's gonna feel like 3 hours, and it's not worth it. It's I don't know what more we can say to really hammer home the fact how terrible and bad this may be one of the worst movies we have ever done on this show.
I agree.
Like it's up there with, and for all different reasons. I mean, it's up there with like Lake Fear 3. It's up there with Death House, but those are bad in different ways. This is just bad in like every. I like the guy in the one review said if it could be done wrong, it was done wrong in this movie.
Yeah,
every aspect is wrong. The sound effects, the music, the acting, the writing,
the editing,
everything is this is a masterpiece of catastrophe.
Great
is what this is.
Perfectly said. A masterpiece of catastrophe. So if you want to see that, Blackenstein's your baby.
Yeah. So bad, scary, man. All right, yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. It's a short episode this week, but that's fine. We'll be back. We'll be back with another episode relatively soon. So in the meantime, guys, you know the deal. Watch more horror movies, and remember to always keep it tight.